Okay, great. So a common use case that's now happening with applications is the integration of AI. And a very simple place to put AI is in inputs. Anywhere where you need to type long pieces of text, you can do the speech to text. So I'm going to show you how this works, and then I'm going to explain how I set it up. So here I've got my input and I can hit the record button. So now it's actually recording me as I speak. And when I hit the stop button, it's going to take the raw transcript of what I'm saying and put it in the input. So let's stop that. Takes a second to process. There we go. So exactly what I said is now straight into input. And what's interesting also is I didn't have to paste this into the input, and it's not a conditional to put this into the input. So now I'm going to walk you through how I've set it up. So here I've got an input, and this has an ID attribute. And that ID attribute, I am passing it on to this reusable, which is the one that does the recording. So let's have a look at how the reusable is set up. So the reusable contains a button and a group, and I'm using the audio recorder Lite. I think it's, let me just confirm, it's this one, audio recorder MP3. That's the one. And I'm using that to record the audio. Once I've recorded it, I'm sending it via an API call. So let's just go through this. So I'm saving the file to a state, and then I'm sending this to an API call. And this is running on file. So let's go and see what's happening in file, which is here. So in file, you can set up these custom workflows where you combine different models and stitch them together into the sort of diagram that's got nodes that are connected. So I have one endpoint, which is just the audio that I've recorded. And then I'm running this through Whisper from OpenAI. And once I'm done, I've got this node called any LLM. And what it allows you to do is to pick any one of the LLM providers and use that as the intelligence that will process your voice. And I have a prompt here which says if the user just articulates what they want and essentially just speaks out their script, take that script and spit it out with no changes. But if the user gives further instructions on how they want the output to be changed, then it can also do that. So as you're speaking and articulating what you want, you can also say, hey, format this in this style, or take everything that I've said and make it more concise and shorter, or put it into bullet points. And because it's running through an LLM, it's going to actually do that. And then it brings out the output as text. And then that output is what I am saving here as my response from this call. And the most important part is this JavaScript function. So what it does is it takes the response that I got from my call in step 2 and also takes the input ID. So I'm passing the input ID from the input here. So this input has an ID, and I'm passing it back into this reusable, and that's the ID that I'm using it here in this JavaScript function. And what it does is it updates the text input with the response here, such that when I then record this, it instantly goes into the input without me needing to paste it in manually or put in some crazy bubble conditional logic. So yeah, it's a quick tutorial on how to do this. Hopefully this will be useful to someone, and yeah, cheers.